to this moment, but it's still major that I got that done.
That's Big U's own son, Dion Henley, and he's out here dropping bombs on the whole family legacy. After staying tight-lipped for years while Big U ran LA like some street legend, Dion's finally speaking up. And what he's revealing? Straight up disturbing. We're talking fraud, murder allegations, and whispers that tie his own dad to the tragic death of Nipsey Hussle. It's a storm. And now, even Big U's blood ain't staying silent. Let's break it down. The streets are buzzing and the hip-hop world is on edge. Eugene Big U Henley, one of the most plugged-in OGs from South Central, just got scooped up by the feds. And it ain't no petty stuff either. We're talking major charges with serious weight behind them. But here's the real twist. This ain't just about Big U anymore. It's pulling his whole fam into the mess, including his son Dion, a full-blown NFL baller, who now finds himself stuck in the middle of chaos he didn't even sign up for. But before we get deeper into Dion's side, we gotta look at the man behind all this heat.
So they had to send a warrant to get Big U's DNA. You want to take a wild guess whose DNA came back on his son? Big U, Eugene Henley's DNA, came back on her son's fingernails.
Big U ain't no regular neighborhood name. He's been playing the streets in the spotlight for years. On one hand, he's out here preaching community change, founding that Developing Options nonprofit to guide the youth. On the other, he's knee-deep in the same streets he claimed to be saving. The same streets where legends like Nipsey Hussle rose up, and where rumors now say Big U might have had a darker role in that story too. But now flip the script. Because according to the feds, Big U wasn't just some reformed street legend. Nope. They say he's been the top dog, the real shot caller for one of the most feared sets in LA, the Rollin' 60s Neighborhood Crips. And we ain't talking about no corner crew. This set runs deep, over 1,600 members strong, and they've been causing mayhem since '76, born out of the West Side Crips clique led by none other than Stanley Tookie Williams. This gang got a name that rings out in every hood. Their motto? You ain't a Rollin' 60 till you kill a 60. That's stone cold. No sugarcoating it. Just shows how brutal things really get behind that blue rag. And their track record? Straight grimy, like that tragic hit in '84 when Kermit Alexander's entire family got smoked by mistake, or the 1988 shootout that left innocent Karen Toshima dead from stray fire during a wild gang beef in Beverly Hills. And Big U, he's been out here balancing two lives like a pro, the gangland general and the face of community change. He's been in all the documentaries, doing podcast interviews, always pushing that I'm changed now, I did my time, now I'm here to save the youth storyline. But law enforcement, they're calling BS. They say all that nonprofit talk was just smoke and mirrors, a fake persona to cover up the shady business still going down in the background.
Nipsey meant a lot to me, this community, to a lot of people far, how much Nipsey has played a role in a lot of people's lives just with the inspiration he provided through his music. Me, I knew Nipsey since I was yay high. My dad was actually his first manager. While I was in the backyard doing football drills, Nipsey was downstairs making music.
March 2025 was the moment everything exploded. The feds weren't just knocking, they kicked the door down on Big U and 18 other members and associates of the Rollin' 60s. That so-called community leader mask got ripped clean off when the Department of Justice dropped the hammer with a heavy federal complaint. They straight up accused Big U of running a full-blown criminal empire from the shadow. And baby, they got receipts. This ain't no minor case, these are serious federal charges. And if the feds land this, Big U could be gone for life. And just when you think it couldn't get crazier, it did. By the time March wrapped, Big U was hit with a 43-count indictment. That's right, 43. And it reads like a crime documentary gone rogue. RICO violations, murder, kidnappings, armed robberies, extortion, wire fraud, embezzlement, human trafficking, illegal weapons, the whole playbook of organized chaos. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph McNally didn't sugarcoat a thing. He said, as the indictment alleges, Mr. Henley led a criminal enterprise whose conduct ranged from murder to sophisticated fraud. That's not just serious, that's deadly serious. But one of the most chilling parts? The mysterious death of Rayan Williams, a rising rapper signed to Big U's label, UNE Music. Dude was found dead in Vegas back in 2021, and now prosecutors are hinting that Big U might have been more than just a label boss. He might have been tied to that body. This wasn't just some random street beef, nah. According to the feds, this was a calculated hit over a diss track. Let's break down the twisted story behind Rayan Williams. He was just 21, an upcoming rapper with real dreams and personal ties to Big U's family. He used to ball in high school, right alongside Big U's son, Dion Henley. Yeah, the same Dion now cashing NFL checks with the LA Chargers. Williams had just signed to Big U's label, UNE Music. The label even flew him out to Vegas, covered the Airbnb, paid for the flight, all of it. But that trip turned fatal. According to prosecutors, Williams recorded a diss track while out there, and it had shots aimed directly at Big U. The lyrics, straight up haunting. In one line, he allegedly rapped about making money and possibly getting popped, just for thinking things were funny. That bar hit too close to reality. Once Big U allegedly heard that track, things got real ugly. The feds claim he didn't waste time, pulled up to Vegas personally. And what happened next? Cold-blooded. The complaint says Big U and his boy Sylvester A.V. Robinson took Williams out to North Las Vegas, hit him in the face multiple times with a .38, and dumped his body off the side of I-15 like he was trash, left in a ditch with no mercy. After the alleged hit went down, the cover-up kicked in fast. Big U and his crew reportedly told studio staff to stay quiet and wipe the security footage like nothing ever happened. But the truth couldn't stay buried, literally.
Equipment out of the studio and wasn't paying that $20,000 to Big U no more. Nigga, everybody know that.
Rayan Williams' body was later found dumped near a Nevada landfill just 4 miles from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Clark County coroner confirmed it. Gunshot wounds to the face. Ruled a homicide, no question about it. Once the news hit, the internet lit up. People started pressing Big U for answers on social media, tagging him, calling him out. And what did he do? He ghosted everybody. No response, no statement, just silence. And that made things look even more suspicious. But the loudest voice of all, Rayshawn's mom, Shauna Brown. She went straight to TMZ and didn't hold back, publicly claiming Big U was the one who took her son's life. And she's not asking for justice, she's demanding it. She said she wants the system to throw the entire book at him and make him pay for what he allegedly did. And just when you think it can't get messier, it does. Word on the streets is Big U didn't want to hand over his DNA at first. Cops had to get a whole warrant just to collect it. Then came the video, now spreading all over, claiming Big U's DNA was found under Rayshawn's fingernail, which means there was a fight before the shots got fired. But the murder charge, that's just one piece of the puzzle. The feds say Big U wasn't just out here wilding on a one-off. They're claiming he ran a whole mafia-style operation from 2010 all the way to March 2025. And they even gave it a name, the Big U Enterprise. Yeah, it's that deep. According to the indictment, Big U used his street legend status and gang ties to shake down businesses, athletes, and artists, allegedly forcing them to check in and pay up for protection. And we're not just talking local rappers, even pro athletes were reportedly on his radar. The feds are painting a picture of a man who built an underground empire using fear, pressure, and reputation. But that's not all. Big U also got hit with serious financial fraud charges. One of the wildest, that COVID-19 relief scam. Prosecutors say he lied on a loan app for his label, UNE Music, claiming it made $200,000 in 2019. But in reality, the label had actually lost $5,000, meaning he wasn't even eligible for that money in the first place. And it gets grimier. He's also accused of jacking donations from his nonprofit Developing Options, the same group that was getting major funding from the city of LA, including the mayor's office via the G-Rid Foundation. Add in donations from major ballers like Shaq and Draymond Green. That's a serious paper trail. Bottom line, the feds say all this reformed activist talk was just a costume, a slick disguise to hide the criminal moves still popping behind closed doors. The nonprofit, the music, the public speeches, all allegedly just smoke to boost his clout, push fear, and keep the game running while pretending he left it behind.
Nipsey Hussle got smart and say, nigga, I don't want to pay you $20,000 a month no more, nigga. And Nipsey Hussle come up dead. He lost his protection, and the hood killed him.
Big U didn't stroll into court. He shuffled in, hands and feet locked up in shackles. The feds made it clear, no freedom for him until at least his detention hearing on March 31st, 2025. Then, come April 8th, Big U stood in that downtown LA courtroom and pleaded not guilty to every single charge. His trial, set to kick off May 20th, 2025, and it's already shaping up to be one of the wildest courtroom dramas the city's seen in a minute. But before he turned himself in, Big U tried to flip the script, dropping a string of videos online denying everything. He blamed the whole case on racial bias and straight-up haters. In one clip, he said, "This is the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you." His lawyer, John Tarkowski, echoed the same energy, saying Big U plans to fight these charges hard and is standing firm on his innocence. But this ain't just about Big U. It's part of a much bigger federal sweep called Operation Drawdown. The feds came for more than just one player. Along with Big U, others got cuffed too. like Sylvester Vay Robinson 59 and Mark Bearclaw Martin 50. All of them are now in the hot seat facing the same serious charges. And this wasn't some overnight bust either. The FBI's been cooking this one since August 2020, then zeroed in on Big U's alleged empire a year later. The case pulled in the IRS, North Las Vegas PD, and multiple agencies, showing just how serious they're taking this whole operation. The countdown is on. Big U's trial is just 2 weeks away, set to pop off on May 6, 2025, and it's about to shake more than just the courtroom. This case could seriously change the game for gang intervention programs and how the public views so-called community leaders in LA. If Big U gets convicted, he could be looking at life behind bars. And it ain't just him in trouble. His alleged crew, like Sylvester Robinson and Mark Martin, could each get slapped with up to 20 years. But let's zoom out, because this whole mess is way bigger than just one trial. It's putting a spotlight on the blurred line between activism and the streets in Los Angeles. Big U's charges got folks rethinking everything about former gang members who step into leadership roles, especially in programs meant to stop the same violence they once contributed to. It's got people asking, how deep does the street life really run in these so-called reformers? And now, we're diving into the most controversial part of this whole story, the whispers, the speculation, the rumors connecting Big U to Nipsey Hussle's death. Yeah, that part.
The little homies ain't looking at Big U, they looking at Nip, cuz. When Nip pull up in that Rolls Royce and that platinum Jag, looking with all that chain on, yeah, Nip was getting bigger than the set, cuz. And don't nobody get bigger than the set is what I was told. So they killed that nigga.
Let's keep it real. None of this is confirmed. These claims ain't in the court files, and Big U hasn't been charged in connection to Nipsey's murder, but in the streets and online, folks keep talking. People been side-eyeing that connection for years, and with all this coming to light, the rumors are louder than ever. This next part, it's the one everybody's been whispering about, online, in barbershops, in the streets. So let's talk about it. The speculation around Big U and Nipsey Hussle won't stop. And even though it ain't in the court docs, folks are connecting dots in the background. Nipsey Hussle, real name Ermias Joseph Asghedom, wasn't just a rapper. He was a hometown hero, a street visionary, and a true community builder. His life was cut short on March 31st, 2019, when he got gunned down right outside his own store, the Marathon Clothing, in Hyde Park, Los Angeles. The official story? The shooter was Eric R. Holder Jr., who was convicted and sentenced to 60 years to life. Prosecutors said the whole thing stemmed from a personal beef. Not a gang hit, not a setup, just a street-level argument turned deadly. But even with that case closed, people haven't stopped side-eyeing Big U's connection to it all. Why? Because Big U and Nipsey had real history. Back in the late 2000s, Big U helped Nipsey rise, even acted like a manager when Nip was just getting his footing in the game. This wasn't no casual link-up, and this was tight. And it's not just hearsay. You can actually find video clips of Henley, Big U's son, talking about how close he and Nipsey were too. But like so many industry partnerships, the bond didn't last. Word on the block is that things went sour over a dispute about some music equipment at Big U's shop. Nipsey allegedly felt disrespected, and instead of keeping it private, he clapped back the only way a real MC would, with a diss track. Word is Big U wasn't too happy about that diss track and allegedly tried to check Nipsey for it. But before things could get out of hand, Nipsey's brother Black Sam stepped in and kept the peace. They reportedly squashed the beef, and at least on the surface. But ever since Nipsey's murder, the streets haven't stopped buzzing with serious accusations. Rumors been flying that Big U might have played a role in orchestrating Nipsey's death. Again, no official proof, but the talk has been relentless. One of the loudest voices pushing this narrative? Rapper SKG, a former death row artist, who's been on interviews claiming Big U was behind the whole thing. She straight up said he terrorized the Crenshaw community and was moving real violent out here. Now, let's be clear. These are allegations, not facts. There's no legal case tying Big U to Nipsey's death. And Big U himself already addressed all this back in 2021 during an interview on Drink Champs. He said, "We ain't got no beef," and made it crystal clear he had nothing to do with what happened to Nip. Still, that hasn't stopped others from keeping the heat on. One of the most vocal and controversial figures, Charleston White. Known for saying the wildest stuff online, he's gone all in, accusing Big U and the Rollin' 60s of being behind Nipsey's death in multiple videos. Charleston White didn't stop at just pointing fingers, and he doubled down, claiming Nipsey's rising fame started rubbing Big U the wrong way. According to him, that spotlight on Nipsey created tension, real pressure that supposedly sparked behind-the-scenes conflict between Big U and Nipsey's family before the murder even happened. White even claims there's paperwork out there, documents that show friction between both sides. But let's keep it all the way real. These are some heavy allegations, and as of now, There's no official backing behind any of it.
All that's a police report, homie, where Black Sam had to pull a pistol out on Big U before Nip got killed.
The truth is, the RICO case against Big U does charge him with the murder of Rayan Williams, but it does not include anything related to Nipsey's death. Eric Holder is the one who's been convicted and sentenced for killing Nipsey. There's no court-proven link tying Big U to the crime, not a single charge or piece of verified evidence. Still, these swirling rumors have done damage. Whether they're facts or just gossip, they've hurt Big U's name. He even admitted it himself. In one video, Big U said the talk around Nipsey's murder messed with his paper and slowed down his business after Nip's death. The streets started looking at him sideways, and that kind of cloud don't move easy. These allegations, true or not, expose the ugly tangle between hip-hop, gang life, and the business world in LA. When the streets, music, and money get mixed up, the lines between personal beef, business drama, and gang politics get real blurry. And for Big U, those lines are now part of his story, changing how people see him forever. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, what you see is a man caught in three different worlds: the streets, the music industry, and the non-profit hustle. Big U was walking a tightrope between gang life, business deals, and community work. And that kind of balancing act always comes with risk. In places where gang culture runs deep, this double life ain't rare, but it breeds chaos and contradictions that can blow up fast. The rumors surrounding Nipsey Hussle only add fuel to the fire. They shine a spotlight on the way power shifts in gang culture, especially when the music industry gets involved. Respect, money, and street influence are all currency. And when that balance tips too far in one direction, egos collide and things can go left real quick. Nipsey's rising fame may have changed the energy, pushed some buttons, and possibly disrupted certain power plays happening behind closed doors. And now let's be clear, there's no proven link between Nipsey's death and Big U. That's still street talk, speculation, and hearsay. But what's not up for debate is how much damage these whispers have done to Big U's image. His name was already under fire way before the feds came knocking. The Nipsey rumors just put him deeper under the spotlight. Now stack that with the federal charges tied to Rayan Williams' murder and the alleged criminal empire he's accused of running, and you've got the picture of a man who, according to prosecutors, used his influence and his rep not just for clout, but for control, intimidation, and allegedly straight-up violence. The feds say Big U kept control by checking anyone who stepped out of line, punishing those who challenged his authority. But before we jump to conclusions, we gotta remember, in the justice system, accusations ain't convictions. And when it comes to Nipsey Hussle, all that talk, still just rumors. Despite the noise, Big U hasn't been charged, and the official story still points to Eric Holder as the lone gunman in Nip's murder. Now, the Rayan Williams case, that's a whole different story. And it's active. That one's moving through the courts right now, and Big U's got his day coming. He'll have the chance to respond to those very specific charges. But what's really catching people off guard is the contrast. The man who spent years branded as a community activist, the face of youth programs and anti-gang efforts, is now being accused of running a criminal empire in the shadows. And that contradiction hits deep, especially in neighborhoods scarred by gang violence. In the hood, OGs, the older generation of gangsters, sometimes flip the script, stepping up to guide the youth away from the same life they once lived.
About $3 million that Kanye West gave us.
Wow.
And then I had like a bunch of other different contracts. And for a nonprofit, we were really thriving. Then Nipsey gets killed. Well, after Nipsey get killed, then the rumor goes out, Big U had something to do. We lost everything.
You lost all those?
And when I tell you everything.
Wow.
Kanye stopped answering the phone.
Some of them really do change. They use their past as a tool for healing, but in other cases, that transformation ain't all the way real. The streets say some of these reformed figures keep playing the game, just behind a cleaner mask. And that's what makes Big U's story so wild and disturbing. Was he truly out here trying to save lives? Or was he, like the prosecutors claim, using that good guy image to cover up a criminal operation that never actually stopped? The upcoming trial might finally bring some answers, at least when it comes to the official charges Big U is facing. But while the legal system does its thing, the streets of South Los Angeles and the entire hip-hop community are left trying to make sense of it all. For a lot of young people, Big U wasn't just some OG. He was the blueprint for how to leave gang life behind and still win. So these charges, for many they hit like betrayal. It's more than just disappointing. It's a gut punch, but it also puts a spotlight on the complicated reality of life in communities where gang influence still runs deep. Real reform ain't easy, and even when someone looks like they've made it out, the past can still have a grip on them, and the people around them. As we count down to that May 20th, 2025 trial date, the energy in the city is heating up. This case is way bigger than just one man. It's raising serious questions. How do we fight gang violence in urban neighborhoods? Can music really be a lifeline out of the streets? And what happens when money, fame, and power start blurring the lines between redemption and manipulation? No matter how the trial ends, the story of Big U is already exposing deep cracks in the system, showing how influence, fear, and reputation collide in ways that can build or destroy a community. And now, as the court date approaches, the tension's rising. The streets are watching. This ain't just another trial, it's shaping up to be one of the biggest gang-related courtroom battles in recent LA history, and the ripples could reach across the entire country. All of this chaos isn't just hitting Big U, it's tearing through his family too. As more allegations and charges pile up, the spotlight has shifted to someone who's kept his name clean. Deon Henley, Big U's son. Born November 18, 1999, Deon has been carving his own lane and doing it big. After getting drafted in 2023, he's now stacking checks as a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. Despite all the heat surrounding his pops, Deon's managed to stay focused and build a solid career in the NFL. And from the outside, the bond between father and son seems strong. Big U always backed Deon's football grind. He's cheering him on while juggling his roles in the music industry and community activism. In one video, Deon even opens up about how both he and Nipsey Hussle were out chasing their dreams under the same roof, supported by Big U. But here's where it gets real messy. There are connections between Deon and some of the very people his dad is now accused of scamming. In a January 2025 interview, Deon talked about his friendship with Shaquille O'Neal, a relationship that was set up through Big U. Now, with accusations swirling that Big U misused donations from big-name athletes like Shaq and Draymond Green for his nonprofit, that connection hits different. Deon might be standing tall in the league, but the weight of his father's alleged crimes is creeping closer. And with every new revelation, the line between loyalty and scandal keeps getting blurrier. That connection to Shaquille O'Neal hits way different now, especially with the allegations that Big U defrauded him, convincing Shaq to donate to the family nonprofit, only to allegedly funnel those funds into personal accounts. And while Deon and his father seem close, he's kept completely quiet about the legal storm surrounding Big U. And honestly, that silence makes sense.
Always that he's going to be this big rap star, and one day I'll make it to the NFL. Just watch your step. You're good to come down. Once upon a time, this was a studio.
Deon is grinding to build his own name, his legacy, separate from the weight of his father's past. But it's gotta be a heavy load to carry, especially when you're in the public eye yourself. As a rising NFL star, every move gets watched, and this situation puts him in the toughest spotlight of all. Big U's family life also includes his longtime partner, Stacey Henley, with whom he shares 4 kids, including Deon. Together, they co-founded Developing Options Incorporated, a nonprofit aimed at helping at-risk youth. On paper, it looked like a powerful family mission, but now, that same nonprofit is at the heart of some of the fraud allegations, with accusations that donations were misused for personal gain. The damage from these allegations doesn't just hit Big U's household, it spills into the lives of those who trusted him. One of the most painful connections? Rayan Williams, the young man Big U is now accused of murdering. Rayan wasn't some stranger. He played high school football with Deon and was reportedly living with the Henley family at one point. That makes the murder allegations even more heartbreaking and shocking. And his mother, Shanna Brown, hasn't held back. She's made it clear. She believes Big U is guilty and says she won't stop until justice is served for her son. In an emotional interview with TMZ, Shanna Brown, mother of Rayan Williams, laid it all out. Her pain was raw as she demanded that Big U face the maximum punishment for what he allegedly did to her son. Losing a child is a heartbreak beyond words, but knowing that her son was allegedly gunned down by someone who was supposed to be mentoring him, that takes the pain to a whole new level. And it gets worse. After Williams' death, there have been more accusations that Big U completely ghosted the grieving family. Despite how close their connection reportedly was, he allegedly went silent. A video now circulating online adds fuel to the fire, making some serious claims about how Big U acted in the aftermath of Rayan's murder. If those allegations are true, that kind of cold shoulder is next level foul, especially considering that Rayan had once lived under Big U's roof. But as with everything else, we gotta be real. This is still one side of the story. Big U hasn't spoken publicly about his behavior following the murder, so that chapter's still missing his version of events. Now, stepping outside the family pain, the streets have been loud about Big U's arrest. And just like with any big name tied to hip-hop and gang culture, the reactions have been split. Some folks are still riding with him, swearing he's being set up. Others, they're dragging him across social media, calling him out for the long list of alleged crimes. On platforms like Twitter and Reddit, the debate is on fire. Supporters say he gave back to the community, and critics say he was just using the streets and the system. One thing's for sure, nobody's staying quiet. Even with all the heat around him, Big U still has fans standing by his side. Some believing he's just the latest target in a long line of powerful hip-hop figures being taken down. On X, formerly Twitter, users have been loud with their opinions. One user at K1NDEASY showed love, saying, "This man Big U went down and now LA started to fall apart as a unit. Hell nah, free the legend." Another account at the Black Channel questioned the whole case, writing, "The feds just dropped murder charges on Big U and now say he's on the run. I don't buy anything they say. This feels like another crusade to take down anyone who's made real money off our culture. Rap, hip-hop, all of it under attack. But while support exists, it's far from universal."
Big U didn't show up to the funeral, never contacted the mother for any type of support, anything. Just blocked her and everything, right?
Over on Reddit, especially in the Cali banging subreddit, the reaction has been way more critical. Many users are calling out Big U's alleged behavior, saying it reflects badly on everything he claimed to stand for. One commenter came at him hard, saying, "Dude was moving reckless like Uncle Jerome from Snowfall. Talking on phones about murders like it's nothing. Too sloppy, too loud." The sentence was even typed with periods between each word for emphasis. Real frustration showing. Another user didn't hold back, calling him Big Useless, mocking both his street rep and the alleged downfall. Whether it's support or shade, one thing's clear. The internet is split and the debate around Big U is only getting more intense by the day. The controversy around Big U goes way beyond just internet drama. It cuts into real conversations about how we treat redemption, trust, and leadership in communities torn by gang violence. Before his arrest, Big U was being held up as a success story. A man who did his time, changed his path, and came back to give back. His nonprofit, Developing Options, wasn't just some small operation. It had backing from the city of Los Angeles, big-name celebrities, and was seen as a model for how former gang members could help stop the violence they once contributed to. But now, with the allegations painting that same nonprofit as a front for ongoing criminal activity, people are asking tough questions. If it's proven true, it's not just Big U who failed. It's the whole system that trusted him with public money, donations, and community influence. How did this slip through the cracks? Where was the oversight? This isn't just a personal scandal, it's a possible failure in how we vet, fund, and monitor intervention programs across major cities. And that brings up an even harder question. What does true reform really look like? In neighborhoods hit hardest by gangs, reformed OGs are often the only ones who can speak the language and reach the youth. They've lived it. They're credible in ways outsiders never will be. But how do we make sure that the ones claiming they've changed actually have? How do we protect the community without closing the door on second chances? But what happens when someone held up as a symbol of redemption is accused of never truly leaving the game? If the allegations against Big U turn out to be true, it wouldn't just be a legal failure, it would feel like a straight-up betrayal. A betrayal of the system that trusted him. And more painfully, a betrayal of the communities he claimed to be protecting and uplifting. It would reinforce every doubt people already have about reform, making it harder for the next genuinely reformed OG to earn trust, get funding, or even be taken seriously. That ripple effect could set back progress in neighborhoods where gang intervention programs are often the only thing standing between life and death for some kids. But with all that said, we still gotta keep it grounded. These are allegations, not proven facts. Under the law, Big U is innocent until proven guilty, and he's about to get his shot at defending himself. His attorney has already made it clear. Big U denies everything and plans to fight the charges hard. With the trial locked in for May 20th, 2025, the public's eyes are fixed on what's about to unfold. And this ain't just about Big U. The outcome could reshape how gang intervention, community programs, and reform stories are handled all across the country. No matter how the verdict lands, one thing is certain. This case has already stirred a firestorm of questions about trust, power, and what redemption really means when the streets, the law, and public money are all colliding. This case shines a harsh light on the tangled web between gang culture, the music industry, and so-called community activism. It's a reminder that behind every headline are real people, living with the scars, the silence, and the fallout of violence that's been glamorized and ignored for way too long. The story of Big U, if nothing else, forces us to look closer at what happens when power, influence, and street ties get too blurred. It raises serious questions. Who do we trust to lead our communities? What does redemption actually look like? And how do we protect the ones trying to break the cycle without being blindsided by those who never really left the game? While the world waits for that May 20th trial, let's not forget the lives already affected. From Rayan Williams, a young talent whose life ended far too soon, to his mother, Shauna Brown, still fighting for justice, and even Big U's own family who now have to live through the chaos and judgment while trying to keep their own paths clear. These ain't just names in a case file, they're people with dreams, pain, and stories that go deeper than the courtroom. Thanks for watching, and now I want to hear from you. What's your take on everything we just broke down? Do you believe Big U really turned his life around, or was it all a cover? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you want more raw, real stories like this. Hit that bell too, so you don't miss what's coming next. Catch you in the next one.